So I'm just back into the fire imports here, and so that we can work on the render of the fire and the lighting, I'm just going to drop here a volume resample. Okay, so this it's pretty self-explanatory. Resample the volume, so we don't have so many voxels. I'm just going to drop this down to 0.5. Visualize that, and then I've got this set to manual, so I'm going to set it to auto update. And then you'll see the volume in the viewport, and we'll see that it has a bit less resolution than what we cached out earlier. There we are. You can just maybe make the background dark so we can see it. There we go. And we can see if I press the information here. We've got 25 million voxels there, and up here we've got 203. Okay, so it's quite, it's a lot less, but it'll be a lot more interactive. So yeah, I want to look at rendering this now. I'm going to add a material first of all. So let's just go ahead and drop that material. I'm going to hide that. Just go into our matte context and make a Redshift material. No, Redshift material builder, I think I can use for this. So Redshift material builder. Okay, and then dive inside here and drop, remove this and drop a volume, RS volume, connect that up to the volume there. Okay. And then we'll call this fire. We'll obviously come back and configure those, the values in a moment. There we go. So that's applied there. Yeah, it doesn't matter if we do it out here because we've only got the fire. We're only rendering the fire from here. Let's view that. So we also need a Redshift, the Redshift ROPs, these outputs. Let me just try and make this a bit more efficient. So let's make this half resolution, which is probably set to HD on the camera render there. And then samples are fine. There's no global illumination for the moment, so it should be pretty fast. Let's I think we can take a look at that now. So let's go into our, let's find a Redshift render view. Good, and just hit a render on that. There we are. So we're seeing something. Obviously it doesn't look like fire yet, so let's start taking snapshots. So take a snapshot there, you can see it down here, and let's go back into our material and work on that. So first things first, let's get it kind of looking like fire. So if we come down to the emission, I think here, and use that flame field, well now it's a flame volume, and color down here flame as well. Oops, not lame. Flame. And we'll start out by, hopefully we've got black body here. Again, we'll probably play around with these colors. I've done lame down there again. Flame. There we go. And that should give us some fire. Let's see. Let's just click the IPR render. There we go. So again, yeah, doesn't look fantastic, but we're seeing smoke and fire separately. Let's grab another snapshot of that. Great. Okay, so what we can also, if we come into the advanced tab here, is play around with the values coming in. Okay, so kind of push the density of the smoke in here. We can do that. Also the same with the fire. So the the intensity of the fire. So I'm going to push up the fire substantially. Set this to 10 here. So it's way brighter. Okay. And then come back into the colors here. And let me start working on these colors. So I want a black on this side and a black. I'm just going to bring this white in here and drop a black over to the other side. There we go. So you see what that's doing? It's kind of clipping off the end there. So now we're starting to get some nice details. Okay. I'm going to bring this in. I don't like this kind of harsh red. And maybe I can, if you just click, anywhere along here, you can grab the color. So that's one way of getting some interesting colors. Kind of get more of an orange. So I'm going to delete this one. Bring this one over. This yellow, I'm going to get a bit of a less kind of saturated one. Maybe here. Delete that. Okay. Bring that over. And then bring this yellow over as well. Oh yeah, so it's looking much better so far. Sorry. Can also push up the scale here a bit. Get some more pop to it. Look at that. Okay, getting real sense of kind of heat now. Great. With the density. So for the color, I think we'll need to drop density in here. Not sure if it'll make any difference actually, but just in case. So with the absorption coefficient and scatter coefficient, that will affect the brightness of the density, okay, and how the light kind of passes through, whether it reflects back towards the source of light or passes through. In our case, well, at the moment we don't have any light set up. There's light, coming from the emission of the fire. I think, I'm not sure if in Redshift also we'll just have a headlight, just like in Mantra, which will be lighting this up. So I'm going to set this to 5. You can see that brightening up there. Maybe give it a tiny bit of color. One thing you can do, doesn't really make sense with the smoke, but just to show you, is you can set these colors by temperature. Okay, so you can see these lower temperatures give you these oranges, and then the higher temperatures give you blues. It's a nice way, for setting lights, I often do this. And I find some kind of really weak orange, something like that. I'm just going to change this to 1 here, and then maybe both of these points, all the way on 0.9, 0.85, just something really subtle. Prefer not to use, just a solid white wherever I can. Great, and for the absorption, set that to 3. Okay, allowing a bit more light to pass through there now. Great, that looks good. Let's run a bit of a cleaner render on that. There we go, and then take another snapshot here. Okay, so we can look through the difference there. You can see here we're kind of picking up these nice detailed lines. They're kind of getting lots of intricate little details here. They're kind of, we're losing that. That comes from playing around with these colors. Okay, so don't just leave that on the standard black body. Play around with these colors, add kind of stripes, do things like, you can have a chunk of black in the middle or at the start like we've done here. It doesn't have to be black, red, orange, yellow, white. You can, play around, add a little bit of blue in there. You know, it's kind of, you know, we often have blue in fire as well. You know, it's good to just experiment, play around with that, play around with the values in here as well. Okay, but I think I'm quite happy with this as it is right now.